The name of the movie is The Chase. A man named Jack arrives at a gas station in a 1989 silver Volkswagen during the opening scene. Rabbit then goes into the convenience shop. A woman is spotted perusing magazines momentarily as Jack purchases a lottery ticket and some chocolates. Then he turns back to face the woman, making a fleeting eye contact. Two police officers enter the store at the same time that a police car pulls up to the station, unsettling Jack. He is stopped from leaving the line by the woman and the police because there is an issue with the cash register. Suddenly, on their police radio, the police learn that someone has stolen a 1989 silver Volkswagen Rabbit. Jack is immediately suspected. Jack then snatches the woman in order to flee, telling the cops not to draw their weapons while deceiving her into thinking he is carrying a pistol with his candy bar wedged in her back. Jack gives the cashier instructions to take the two policemen pistols and pocket them, which he does. As soon as he gets them, Jack replaces his candy with a real firearm. Then he carries the woman outside to her car and quickly drives off, telling them all to lie on the ground. A few blocks away, Officer Dobbs, who is driving, and Officer Figgis are joined in their patrol car by a film producer and his cameraman, who are filming a police documentary. On the police radio, they hear about a late-model red BMW being seized, and inside is an armed and dangerous man who is holding a woman hostage. Because they are close, Dobbs starts to pursue Figgis. While everything is going on, Jack questions the woman in the BMW, who is constantly whimpering, to take hold of the wheel while he takes off his jacket. She can't help it, even though he instructs her to stop making noise because he would let her go as soon as it's safe. While inquiring how she can afford such a car, Jack lights a cigarette lighter. She responds, still weeping, that her father gave her the car. Jack lashes out at the woman when she unexpectedly takes the cigarette lighter out of the socket and burns his neck. Dobbs and Figgis notice them at the same moment as they unintentionally drop the lighter in the seat, causing smoke to begin filling the car. Jack yells for the woman to get the lighter, and when she does, he gets further upset because he can't smoke anymore. She also throws the lighter out the window. Then there's a fast-paced vehicle pursuit. For the documentary, Dobbs is speculating that if they allow the BMW to disappear from view, they might not see the woman alive again. The producer calmly asks the two policemen what they enjoy most about being police officers while they are speeding through congested areas and driving quickly. Dobbs responds that it makes him feel like a cross between Sylvester Stallone and Bruce Springsteen, which he likes. Once more in the BMW, the woman informs Jack that she gets carsick, feels like puking, and asks him to slow down. However, Jack tells her to put her head out the window and clarifies that you cannot slow down when being pursued by law enforcement. She does, throws up, and crashes into Dobbs's and Figgis's vehicle. When Figgis calls for assistance, he is told that every other car is at a captain's funeral. Chief Boyle learns at the police station that Miss Natalie Voss, the only child of California's richest man, Dalton Voss, is the owner of the vehicle. Chief Boyle then insists that they use the automobiles from the funeral and exclaims that they should have 20 cars pursuing. At the same time, Dobbs informs the producer that they've struck gold today. When Jack informs Natalie they are heading to Mexico to escape, she cries and begs him to let her go. They then get back in the car. They stand up and speed down the freeway. Dobbs becomes enraged because the freeway raises the stakes. Suddenly, from a helicopter, a news reporter reporting something else notices the pursuit and reports it. They then come along a medical school truck that is swerving wildly and dumping corpses onto the interstate. One of the corpses lands on Dobbs's car, which Figgis tries to climb off of. Every now and again Natalie screams, and each time Jack nearly has a heart attack. Jack refuses to put the gun away when she asks him to, but she doesn't think he's a bad guy when he doesn't have one. As a police aircraft joins the chase, Jack is perplexed as to why things always seem to go wrong for him. Natalie suggests that he might be causing his own problems. Jack recommends they get to know one another, introducing himself as Jack, but Natalie won't reveal her identity to him until he puts down the gun, which he now does. Though Jack is taken aback and knows that the authorities will now suspect that he abducted her in order to obtain Dalton Voss's money, Natalie refuses to accept that he was unaware of her previous identity. Jack is attempting to talk himself out of kidnapping someone while he is terrified, but Natalie tells him she was taken and is still there. Concurrently, news sources reveal that Natalie Voss is inside the vehicle and speculate that the kidnapping is likely being carried out for ransom. Dalton Voss comes at the police station with his new wife and yells angrily at Chief Boyle. They quickly locate video of Jack and discover that he was convicted of armed bank robbery and that he had guards escape during his transfer from prison. When Dobbs and Figgis hear this, Dobbs remarks that it's awful, but the producer is ecstatic, calling it excellent. The police never stop calling Jack a dangerous man, a creep, and a madman. Jack grabs the pistol as he witnesses the police pulling out guns and blasts a tire on a patrol car, flipping it over. Because of his accuracy, the news then speculates that Jack is a former Marine. In actuality, though, Jack is surprised that he hit anything because he didn't really intend to shoot, it just went off. When Jack says he detests violence, Natalie responds that she believes he is the very definition of the term. Then, Jack grabs her wrist and screams that he is not a violent man, rather, he is drawn to violence. When Natalie finally becomes calm, she queries Jack's true identity. Jack tells her he doesn't expect anything more from her and says that he was found guilty of a crime he didn't commit because the system didn't believe him. She affirms that she too doesn't think he's credible. Suddenly, the car phone rings and Chief Boyle is on the other end, urging Jack to pull over to the side while on speaker mode. Jack declines. After that, Dalton assumes control and threatens to murder Jack if he harms Natalie. However, Jack persuades Natalie to convince her father that she is okay. Jack responds that he doesn't want any money when Dalton asks how much he wants. Jack asks directly if Dalton's $50,000 offer represents the entire value of his daughter to him, having achieved billionaire status. Natalie has to apologize after Dalton starts holding her responsible for everything. However, Jack interrupts and becomes enraged with Dalton, telling him that nobody ever blames their daughter for being abducted and that he ought to feel guilty for making her feel worse during a time when she is already experiencing a crisis before hanging up on him. Natalie tells Jack that no one has ever spoken to her father in such a way, looking at him in shock at what he had done. Jack explains that it's because everyone, even her, wants something from him. She disputes it, but Jack understands that she wants her father to treat her like a woman and not like a young child, and she affirms this. Natalie immediately expresses her frustration and desire to leave them all, claiming to detest both her true mother, who she views more as a friend than a mother, and her stepmother, whom she married Dalton for his money. Jack's lawyer phones Chief Boyle to get the BMW's phone number so that he can speak with Jack after he unexpectedly sees Jack on the television. In the meantime, there are rumors in the press that Natalie is trapped in the automobile and is afraid. However, Jack and Natalie appear to be enjoying themselves as they begin to sing along to radio music. Abruptly, Jack's lawyer Ari answers the phone, stating that since he is innocent, they can work things out, but only if he stops. Jack thanks Ari for always believing in him, but he says he can't do that. After learning everything, Natalie begins to feel sorry for Jack. Abruptly, the phone rings once more. It's a man from Channel 9 News, inquiring as to what he plans to do if he runs out of gas. Jack screams at him, destroying the phone, saying that his own desperation and Natalie's dread should be enough entertainment. At the Mexican border, loaders and a SWAT squad are being sent out simultaneously. Natalie gives Jack a piece of gum in the car and inquires as to why he is rushing. Jack explains that he used to perform as a clown at children's parties. He was watching baseball at home when a clown suit-wearing bank robber from across the town struck. After receiving a tip from an elderly resident of Jack's neighborhood, the police arrive, discover Jack's clown suit, and take him into custody. Ari corrected him, saying that they do not imprison innocent people, but this was clearly untrue. As Natalie attempts to see him as a clown, a monster truck appears out of nowhere and tries to sideswipe them. Nevertheless, it misses and topples over, allowing the two drivers who attempted to escape in time to avoid the car blowing up. When Ari is questioned about Jack's heist and the circumstances surrounding his conviction, he reveals that the real thief unintentionally cut his hand at the crime site, leaving blood that was determined to be type A. Jack has type B+ blood. However, the sample was deemed inadmissible as evidence in court since it was improperly collected. When Natalie asks Jack, back in the car, when he was sentenced, he responds that it was yesterday. She now understands why he ran away after stealing a car, why he became frightened and grabbed her as the police barged into the convenience shop. She informs Jack that she now accepts his narrative. Dobbs, in the meantime, is babbling, telling the producer he sees himself as a prophet because he can practically bust someone before they even commit a crime and that he has virtually psychic talents. Figgis gives Dobbs a crazy-looking look. The cameraman drops the camera as the driver makes a quick move to avoid a crash, just as a news van unexpectedly pulls up alongside the BMW to get a look at Natalie's condition. Later, Natalie confides in Jack that although she has had a number of boyfriends, they have all turned out to be losers. Natalie also admits that she believes she is a hopeless case, but Jack reassures her that even from their brief exchange of glances at the gas station, he could tell she is an intelligent woman. She tells Jack that he shoved his gun into her back too forcefully and remarks on their initial exchange. Jack pulls it up and says there was never a gun, only a candy bar. They enjoy the chocolates jointly as Natalie bursts into laughter. As the news reports on how simple it is to overlook the fact that Natalie must be utterly scared inside the car, we witness Natalie tending to Jack's burn on his neck and apologizing to him. Jack responds that he doesn't have a wife or girlfriend when Natalie says she's never met anyone quite like him before. She tells him she's falling in love as she begins kissing him. While Jack is driving, she gets on his lap and gives him a passionate kiss. When Figgis mentions that it will be 10 miles to the border, Dobbs becomes agitated and asks rhetorically why Jack is swerving so much on the road. 9 miles later, as the sun sets, Natalie advises Jack to go after her father, in order for them to cross the border and lead a cozy life together. Jack suggests it could work, and Natalie grins and tells him how lovely it all is. When they reach the border, Jack needs to use the brakes hard to avoid running into the loaders. He then swiftly reverses and turns around to drive in the other direction of the traffic. The cops are in chaos, and Chief Boyle is furious. Following that, Jack drives off the road, through a gate, and into an oil field as Natalie lets out an ecstatic laugh. They all wind up driving in a circle as the police chase after them. Commentators on the news say they hope Jack gets a lengthy prison sentence for playing with the police. Jack inquires about Natalie's seriousness about accompanying him, to which she replies in the affirmative, delighted about becoming fugitives. However, Jack abruptly stops the vehicle, and the authorities encircle them. Jack is yelled at to get out of the car by Dobbs and Figgis as they exit. Natalie is upset when Jack tells her that he loves her too much to ruin her life. After thanking Natalie for her faith in him, Jack places the revolver in her handbag and motions for her to leave. She lets out a tear and Jack gives her a quick kiss on the hand. Figgis tells her she's very fortunate to be alive as he pulls her behind a police cruiser. Dobbs says aloud what's on his mind, hoping Jack will try anything so he can shoot him. Jack lights a cigarette in the car and starts thinking back on everything that happened that day, including Natalie of course, the car collisions and large explosions, and the kidnapping at the convenience store. When he sees all the cops yelling at him, he suddenly throws his hand up in the air like a pistol and points at them. He had been walking out with one hand behind his back. He is shot at right away and drops on the ground, bleeding. But a few moments later, Jack is still in his car and appears to have had all of this imagined. Rather, he exits the vehicle with his hands raised, allowing the police to take him into custody while Dobbs expresses his desire to murder him. When Dalton gets there, he approaches Jack and gives him a punch to the face. With delight, the documentary producer and photographer scurries around capturing everything on camera. Dalton rejects Natalie's insistence that Jack is innocent and turns to leave. After noticing the cameraman and producer, Natalie grabs her purse, pulls a gun, and shoots the air to draw attention. She then kidnaps the producer and orders the police to release Jack. She demonstrates her seriousness by firing at a chopper that explodes as the police attempt to stop her. Reluctantly, they release Jack's handcuffs, and the two take control of a TV channel helicopter. When Dalton and Ari take off, he appears completely stunned, and Ari, Jack's attorney, is shown smiling and watching everything happen on TV. The final image features Jack and Natalie lounging on a lovely beach in Mexico, apparently enjoying a fantastic time as a team.
If you want interesting movie recaps, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.